Oshio, this is again the other response. This is the still like part two, the response to login 76. Hello, my friend. This is my brother, and he's gonna kind of finish up all that thought, on a response. Okay, he knows a lot more than what I do. Okay.
Hi. Um, the whole thing is that between Israel and the Arabs, the the thing between Israel, see, it's not really Israel and the Arabs. It's Israel and the Muslims, and and you can't say Arabs because Muslims are a huge population. It's a religion. It's not an ethnic group. And you can say what you want. I mean, they don't consider Christians an ethnic group because it's not an ethnicity. It's a religion. It's a faith. Um, the largest Muslim country in the world is Indonesia. They're not Arabs. They're Asian. Okay. Um, you got Iran. Used to be Persia. Iran, Afghanistan, and Pakistan used to be all Persia. They're not Arabs, yet they hate Israel. You want to talk Palestinians? The word there is no such thing as Palestinians. They're Arabs. Okay. Um, if like Arafat, he said, "Well, we're descended from the Philistines." Well, then that makes them Greeks because the Philistines came down from Greece. I mean that's historical fact. You can go back through history and all the different books and all the different writings, and that's where they come from was Greece. Okay, which actually, if the migrations in the Bible are correct, then that makes them children of Japheth. Okay, um, but the whole thing is between Israel and the Arabs. That's a it's a misnomer. It's the Muslims, and as far as the Israeli Arabs go, the ones that live in the country and abide by the laws, they get along great. They get along okay. I mean, they may not agree politically, but that's what the political process is all about. Okay? They're not out there killing and everything. And you've got Christian Arabs. They don't hate the Jews, especially if they know where their Christianity comes from, because Jesus was a Jew. He was the Jew of Jews. Just like in Paul. Peter, James, John, all of them, they were Jews. And Timothy was a Jew. His daddy was a Greek, but his mama was a Jew. Um, but the whole thing stems from greed and covetousness, which of course is greed. They want what somebody else has. They want what they think they used to have. And that whole area was part of the Ottoman Empire up until the end of World War One. Okay, and the Ottomans had sided with Germany and they got defeated. So, there you go. If they want Israel back because they say it used to be Muslim territory, then you better give them back Spain because at one time Spain was controlled by Islam, southern parts of France, all of North Africa, which is really under Islamic control now to begin with. Um, it's just a really sad thing that they use this hate that a guy that had been influenced or possessed by a demon started. And where do demons come from? They're fallen angels. Okay, and the spawn of fallen angels. Okay, who are they from? They follow Satan. Who's Satan fight against? God. Right there. That proves to you that Allah cannot be God. He may be their God, but he is not God. Okay. Um, Now, getting onto one thing else is we are to love um, the Muslims. We don't have to love what they do, but we are to love them. Love the sinner, not the sin. And by our example, um, supposed to heap coals of fire upon their heads. And that's what the Jews were supposed to do a long time ago, and then they got a little bit of pride going on and said, well, we're the chosen ones of God, and look what happened. They ended up falling. The other thing is the whole thing is Satan's read the end of the Bible, and he don't want to believe it. He don't want to believe that he's going to be defeated. He's trying to do everything he can to wipe out Israel, because that's where the Messiah comes back to. All right, and Satan figures that if he can wipe them out, then Messiah can't come back. If you look at the Bible and study what it has to say about Satan and the Antichrist, that is the Islamic Mahdi. I mean, it's like they took it right out of the Bible, which of course Muhammad did a lot of that. He took things right out of the Bible. Now, and that makes sense too, because Muhammad was an Arab. Okay, he was a descendant of Ishmael. Ishmael knew about God. He knew about Yahweh, Elohim, Adonai, whatever you want to call him. He knew about him. Abraham taught him. But look at the attitude he had. He had a better, I'm better than you attitude towards Yitzhak, Isaac. And that's where the whole thing comes from. It's just really, really pathetic, sad. The Muslims, look what happened when Israel gave up Gaza to the Muslims. They went in there. I mean, they had greenhouses, they had buildings and all this kind of things. First thing the Muslims did when they got control of Gaza is they went in and burnt down the synagogues, and the world didn't cry out or anything. But if Israel had gone in and burnt down a mosque, the world would have cried out. The world is following Ha-Satan.
Yeah, and
Satan.
look what they wanted Gaza, and look what happened there. It wasn't Israel's fault.
No, and as far as them being put into refugee camps and stuff, that was done by their fellow Arabs. You want to go back into history, look at the history of the war for independence. The Arabs said, hey, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, Egypt, they all said, hey, you guys stay in the area, and when they gain their independence, we'll come in and wipe them out, and then you can have all the land back, or have all the land, even though Egypt and the United Nations had given it to them. So what happened there is they didn't win, the Arabs didn't win, and then, like in Jordan, which was set up as a Palestine, Transjordan, that was set up for the Arabs, with Israel being for the Jews. Okay, the Jordanians, the Hashemite kingdom, the Hashemites, who had been kicked out of the Arabian Peninsula by the Saudis, said, no, you're not coming in here. We're going to keep you in these camps, and we're going to use this as propaganda to get the world view at you. Against the Jews. And look how well of a job they've done. And you can't find anybody better at propaganda than the Muslims. I mean, you can't. I mean, look how well they rewrite history. Even Hitler didn't rewrite history as well as these guys do. Julius Caesar. I think this is one of the first times in history where history has been written by the loser. Usually history is written by the victor, but not in this case. So all I can really say is, there's as far as what some Israelis have done to the Jews, or what some Israelis have done to some Arabs, what some Arabs have done, or the majority of the Arabs, Muslims, have done to the Jews and the Christians, and people that are supposedly Christians done back to both the Jews and the Arabs, then there's people throughout the world that have been false in their religions and haven't followed the beliefs of the followers. You get the same thing with Confucius and with all of them. Well, my time's up, and maybe I can follow this up on another posting or something, or do a posting on my own. Thank you, and bye.